Hi, and welcome to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts. And before I get started, I just want to remind you, the audience, that you have your own website. And this is, of course, the name of the show, Psychic Today with Jill Roberts, all one word, psychictodaywithjillroberts.com. And you can get in touch with me there. You can read the blog that is there. I do everything from the show. I will post pictures of whatever I'm talking about, whether it be crystals or tarot decks or pendulums or divine soul blueprints, whatever it is I'm talking about, entity removal. Anything that is talked about on the show will be there. So you just have to scroll down to the blog section and, just click on blog. So again, that's Psychic Today with JillRoberts.com. So today's stone I'm going to talk about is Danburite. There are a couple key words with Danburite. One is angelic communication. Another one is channeling, which is a popular service where I teach people how to channel. Another one of my favorites is ascension with interdimensional travel, peace, and most of all, freedom from stress. The element for Danburite is wind, so it is a perfect stone to have in your shamanic garden. It will represent that element. The chakras is the heart, which is the fourth energy center. The crown, which is the seventh. Transpersonal and etheric is eighth and beyond above the head. So next we're going to talk about Danburite in its physical form. Physically, Danburite is a calcium borosilicate crystal with a hardness of 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs hardness scale. Its name is derived from its original discovery in Danbury, Connecticut, in the United States. Danburite crystals are orthorhombic and prismatic, and they have linear striations running parallel to the length of the crystal. Crystals are generally four-sided, and their terminations are usually chisel-shaped. Most often, they are colorless or white, but some specimens are wine yellow or pale pink. The most abundant Danburite deposits are in Mexico, but crystals are also found in Russia, Madagascar, Bolivia, Burma, and Japan. So anybody who wants to evolve spiritually can definitely benefit from exposure to Danburite. It is a gentle and powerful aid to the upliftment of one's awareness to the higher spiritual vibrations. Danburite clears and opens the crown chakra, linking and harmonizing it with the heart. It also activates and integrates the transpersonal and etheric chakras above the head, all the way up to the 14th chakra. This allows one to move in consciousness into the angelic domain, with which Danburite has a special resonance. It also facilitates interdimensional travel and communications with spiritual entities other than angels. Danburite is an excellent stone for those who need to release stress and worry. It soothes the heart and sends its message that all is well. This is often much needed signal in the anxiety-filled worlds of our routine on a daily basis. Holding a Danburite in each hand can be a very calming experience and boon to meditation. Those who have difficulty sleeping are advised to hold a Danburite in the hand or place, one in the pillowcase or both, in order to bring peace to the subconscious. So it's a way to deal with bringing peace to your subconscious self. Danburite has a way of calming down the mind chatter so that it easily makes an insomniac or anyone who has a busy life easier to sleep and calm down. Almost all of the Danburite in circulation comes from Mexico, oddly enough, because it is named after a place in Danbury, Connecticut from the United States. But there are other varieties from different localities, and they have different energetic signatures. Peruvian Danburite crystals are gray, opaque, and double terminated. In addition to the aforementioned properties of Danburite, these stones have a special vibrational affinity with the extraterrestrial entities and can assist one in making contact with them on the inner planes. Madagascar Danburites are golden in color, and they are tuned to the sweetness of etheric music. They can help one experience the legendary music of the spheres. Now, Russian Danburite appears in crystals which are slightly kind of smoky and have duller surfaces than Danburites from Mexico. Russian Danburites vibrate with somewhat more intensity than other varieties, and they are strong activators of the third eye for visionary experience. Danburite is one of the stones in what's called the Synergy 12 group. And what's in this Synergy 12 is moldavite, phenakite, tanzanite, azeztulite, herderite, pedalite, Tibetan techite, brookite, naturalite, scolasite, and sachuloka clear quartz. This combination is the most powerful yet discovered for the harmonic activation of the entire human energy field. For purposes of stress relief and relaxation, Danburite harmonizes well with lilac lepidolite and lithium quartz. And I do want to talk about lithium quartz, both as a Lemurian and as a non-Lemurian quartz, as another type of stone for calmness. Okay, so for interdimensional travel, of course, Merkabite calcite and alestial calcite are ideal allies, as well as stellar beam calcite or Roswellite. Roswellite, I've talked about in earlier episodes. They are pseudomorphs that are found near the crash in Area 51 in Roswell. They're actually the sand deposits that have created stones. Smoky quartz provides a good grounding influence, while pink tourmaline and morganite can help strengthen the heart chakra connection. Now, Danburite carries the high, sweet frequency of angelic communication and celebration of the divine source. Its energy stimulates the third eye, crown, and etheric chakras above the head. It lends a sense of joy and communication with the divine. It facilitates meditation and carries an energy that is the closest I have found to the Reiki frequency in a stone. Now, again, I do caution that I would prefer, before you start working with stones or working with any type of divination methods and tools, that you ground yourself and create a sacred space like a shamanic garden. I will be doing an episode on shamanic gardens in the future, but it's important to ground yourself before working with anything. You want to heighten your vibration. And by far, Danburite is going to heighten your vibration alone. But before you go into a meditation or a meditative or channeling state, I always suggest that you ground yourself. Okay? Danburite, it's a perfect tool to use when you're opening up to channel. It brings one into resonance with the high frequency light energy and allows one to gracefully open to these frequencies so they can be brought into the earth plane and be, and used for service to the world. It facilitates communications with one's highest guides and enables one to recall what occurs during these communications. In healing work, Danburite assists one in overcoming the fear of intimacy with the divine. It allows one to experience immersion in the realm of spirit and the full opening of the heart to the divine source. So one may become a conduit for this frequency on the planet. This attribute is particularly useful in these times, as we are asked to expand our hearts and carry a more aligned vibration. Now, spiritually, Danburite encourages communication with higher beings and facilitates the communication of knowledge and information from these beings during meditation. It's an excellent stone for connecting with angelic entities and energies. It encourages resonance with the divine heart and the manifestation of high-frequency energy through the physical body. Emotionally, Danburite soothes the emotional body, bringing in a frequency of comfort and angelic rescue. It can help one release grief. intense fear and anxiety, resentment, or anger. Physically, Danburite energies are most effective on the spiritual and emotional levels. Danburite can help one to bring a calm, optimistic outlook to those who are ill. And if you need an affirmation for this stone, either before or while in meditation or channeling, this is a good one. I expand my awareness to awaken within the higher worlds, and I call forth my angels to counsel and guide me. Again, I expand my awareness to awaken within the higher worlds. I expand my awareness to awaken within the higher worlds, and I call forth my angels to counsel and guide me. And I call forth my angels to counsel and guide me. So I will be talking about different stone combinations in episodes to come. This is a new year, 2020. I hope it's going to be a joyous and healthy new year for everyone. And I hope that we all work together in ascension and being the best possible people we can be. So if you hold on, we'll be right back. And we're going to talk about Satya Quartz. Hi, this is Jill Roberts from the show Psychic Today, and I want to talk about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many other different apps and platforms. You can make money from your podcast, and this is a biggie, with no minimum listenership. With so many other podcast creators out there that I've tried, I would only use Anchor. I mean, there's no fee. It's completely free. And everything is at your fingertips. It's everything you need to make in a podcast in one place. So now download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Again, that's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM, or download the Anchor app. And I can't wait to hear your podcast. Hi, and welcome back to Psychic Today. I'm Jill Roberts, and now I'd like to talk about Satya Quartz. A couple keywords for Satya is spiritual truth and enlightenment. The element is wind. Here's another good stone you can have in your shamanic garden to represent this element. And the chakras are the third eye and the crown. Now, physically, Satya Quartz is a name given to a group of translucent to transparent quartz specimens found in southern India. And this is a silicon dioxide mineral with a hardness of 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. Its a crystal system is hexagonal. It's found almost exclusively in massive form. The name refers to the spiritual qualities of the stone. Satyamani is a Sanskrit phrase meaning truth stone or gem of truth. Satya Quartz is, as its name implies, a stone of spiritual truth and initiation. It attunes you to hear the inner call of your destiny. It brings the joy that comes from recognizing that the appearances of the solid-seeming material world are simply the manifestations of deeper living currents from the spiritual realms. Satya Quartz can help you awaken to the truth of one's existence as soul and spirit, and the deeper truth of the interrelatedness of all beings. Satya Quartz is a stone of enlightenment, bringing the light of truth into one's mind by virtue of its connection to the heart. It inspires the expression of truth and the commitment to kindness, clear awareness, non-judgment, and compassion. The currents of Satyamani intensify the circuit of consciousness between the heart and the high brain. As its name suggests, Satyamani is strongly resonant with the heart, particularly in its quality of knowing and expressing truth. The resonance of this stone beyond the heart chakra is with the throat, more than the higher centers in the brain. It is appropriate to say that Satyamani quartz will initiate speaking the truth of the heart, without reference to what the brain might wish to edit or shape into a more convenient term. The brain is always imagining ahead to what others may think and trying to steer situations to its own perceived benefit, what some may refer to as ego. But I try to stay away from those terms because actually we do need the ego. But the heart cares nothing for this, trying to, think about how what you're saying is being perceived. The heart speaks only truth, and it knows from the center of its being what that truth is. When Satyamani quartz is worn or carried or utilized in meditation, the heart is encouraged to give voice to what it knows. The throat chakra becomes so harmonically resonant with the Satyamani quartz that if one relaxes into it, one can speak without knowing what one is going to say, and yet always there will be an eloquent expression of what is true. Satyamani is an excellent stone to do channeling work with or evidential mediumship, because you will be channeling either, depending on what other stones you have with you and how connected you are into the higher realms, either spirits of deceased loved ones or loved ones of clients, or channeling other entities, and it will just come out of you. So the best thing you can do is to get an audio memos app and just let it run, recording yourself while in channeling mode or in meditation, and just speak out whatever comes through your heart. So this kind of speaking from the heart without attempting to edit or control what will be said or heard by others is essentially, for true spiritual teaching as well as for inner exploration and writing. Those who are tuning to and channeling spiritual truth cannot hold back. They must allow whatever expressions the heart engenders in them to come out in a way that is unknown ahead of time. One hears the voice of the heart and follows it, often beginning a sentence without knowing how to end. Satyamani helps us open and attune to the frequencies of the heart's inner wisdom and truth. If we trust those currents, they can guide us to an enlightened destiny. Satyamani quartz is a stone of light. It engenders light in the heart of a pure, white light that is like a shaft or sun piercing a cloud and reaching the earth. This shaft is straight, clear, and true, and gives no concern to anything outside its own pure expression. Imbued with South India's tradition of spiritual enlightenment, the energies of Satyamani quartz, if they are given free rein to travel through the body, will spread the pure white light of enlightened awareness throughout the liquid crystal body matrix. Now, surprisingly, the brain may be the last part of us to receive the illumination. This is the strange method of the stone and from the land of the great teachers. It is as though the being behind the stone knows well what the mind has 1,000 ways to dodge any truth that might seem to threaten its position of control. So displaying a kind of spiritual cunning, Satyamani quartz's truth travels through the body, filling the liquid crystal body matrix, all of the cells, the organs, the chakras with its pure light. It leaves the brain until last. So your intuitive sense can tell you that it's a wonderful strategy, because by the time this light of awareness has permeated all of the physical body, the etheric body, and the astral body, and has worked its way up the chakras, there is no opportunity for the mind to dodge it any further. It must recognize the light and fall into the joy of surrender. Satyamani quartz, in this sense, carries the tradition of the ancient Kundalini path. The Kundalini energy works much like the currents of Satyamani quartz in that it raises the light upward from the lowest chakra, the base, filling the body until, as with Satyamani quartz, there is no choice left for the mind but recognition and ecstatic awakening. It's a great blessing to humanity that a stone such as this, excuse me, which can carry these frequencies into the world, has been discovered and is being disseminated among those who wish to drink of its light. Satyamani quartz also works harmoniously with all types of azestulite, including the Azazeo super-activated pieces, as well as phenakite, naturalite, danburite, brookite, herderite, Tibetan techite, pedalite, scolasite, which are the Synergy 12, and other high vibrational stones. It has a special affinity for moldavite and enhances the stone's power of spiritual transformation. It intensifies the potential benefits of all other silica-based minerals, especially those in the quartz family. Now, spiritually, Satyamani quartz stimulates awareness of truth in the heart and expression of truth in speech. It is a stone of spiritual enlightenment, one of the most powerful high vibrational crystals for this time in history. Emotionally, Satyamani quartz clears the emotional body of attachments to fantasies or false ideas. It promotes healthy relationships based on loving, compassionate honesty. Physically, Satyamani quartz purges the cells of negative habits and false assumptions, leaving the door open to perfect health and unlimited longevity. And if you need an affirmation, I have one here, and it is, I surrender to the sovereignty of my heart, and I listen to its voice of truth. My intention is to be an impeccable and compassionate being of truth. I'm going to say it again slowly in case you want to write it down. I surrender to the sovereignty of my heart. I surrender to the sovereignty of my heart. And I listen to its voice of truth. I listen to its voice of truth. Next sentence. My intention is to be an impeccable and compassionate being of truth. My intention is to be an impeccable and compassionate being of truth. So if you go into meditation, stating these two sentences, the affirmation, it will put you in a meditative state easier because you won't have as much mind chatter, which is why I give the affirmations after each stone. It is beneficial for you to have an intention. Of course, again, this is a Kundalini activating stone. You want to ground yourself. And we will go into shamanic gardens, and you can have them all over. You can have as many as you want. I will do a whole episode on that. And please, if there is something you'd like to learn about, whether it be something in spiritually, something divination-wise, some certain stone, please don't hesitate. Below where you're listening to this, there are show notes, and you can just press it and leave me a voice message. It will go directly to Anchor. And even if you're listening to it on an Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Spotify or one of the many others that you can listen to the show on, and just leave me a message. Let me know if I can use it in a future episode or not. I don't want to use anything without your permission, but sometimes certain things you'd like to hear about or questions you may have will benefit the audience. So don't forget to visit psychictodaywithjillroberts.com. There will be pictures of Danburite and Satyamani quartz up there for you, and I will definitely talk to you soon. I'm sorry I have not been able to do a show since the end of November. They were doing a lot of renovation on the apartment below me, so there was jackhammering going on 24/7. So they're finally done. Thank God. So 2020 is going to start off wonderfully. These are stones that will not only enlighten you and help you ascend, but they will also calm your nerves and your worry and your stress and your anxiety. So from me to you, may you have an amazing day or night, depending on when you're listening to this. And when you listen to this show is when it's pertinent to you. All my love and light.